Thanks again for having me here today. Climate change is real. How many times have you heard that? Well, of course it's real. It's been real since the dawn of time. We've gone through the medieval warm period, Little Ice Age, the Dust Bowl, countless warming and cooling cycles. This rock is from, this dolomitic limestone rock is from a quarry in Kakwana. I dug it out myself. The scratches on it were made by one of the mile-high glaciers that covered this state. When it melted, the oceans rose 400 feet. Those climate changes, dramatic, catastrophic climate changes, were engineered by powerful natural forces, not by caveman fires. Yeah, carbon dioxide, the stuff we exhale, that bubbles out of beer and soft drinks, that plants use to grow, that makes all life on Earth possible. What evidence do global warming alarmists have to back up their claims that our carbon dioxide emissions are dangerous pollutants that are causing a planetary disaster? Their attitude is right out of that classic Humphrey Bogart movie, Treasure of Sierra Madre. Evidence? You got no evidence? We don't need no evidence. We don't have to show you any stinking evidence. Literally thousands of climate and other scientists say that we are not causing a man-made climate disaster. The alarmists have Al got a C and a D in the only 2 science courses he ever took in college.
That's good,
He has one of the biggest carbon butt prints on the planet. He rakes in millions of dollars with his climate catastrophe hysteria. And he uses more electricity in a week than 28 million Ugandans together use in a year. Mr. Gore's rants are certainly backed up by a cabal of government taxpayer-funded, persistent 5-alarm climate scientists. But their exaggerations, fabrications, and machinations were recently revealed in thousands of emails, like these. Why should I make the data available when your aim is to find something wrong with it? It's the scientific method, but instead of sharing his data, Dr. Phil Jones conveniently lost it all. Or, I've just completed Mike's trick of adding the real temperatures to the tree ring data to hide the decline in global warming. That's not science. It smells to me like fraud. The only way climate scientists' climate models can produce the proper result is when we apply a very artificial correction and include a load of garbage. That's real scientists talking. That's why we can't trust the climate models. And the same sneaky scientists have also doctored up the temperatures. They added a few degrees here and there. They ignored reliable satellite data. They ignored data from cold areas like Siberia and northern Canada. They based their global warming horror stories on temperatures from monitoring stations in cities and airports, next to roads and tarmac, and air conditioning exhaust vents. They ran models, and they wrote reports and papers. They gave speeches. But big surprise, almost every one of their headline-grabbing global warming disasters turned out to be bogus. Himalayan glaciers are going to disappear by 2035. Well, that IPCC horror story came from a World Wildlife Fund report, which got it from a magazine article, which got it from an email, which came from a scientist who later said, yeah, it was total speculation on my part. 40% of the Amazon rainforest is going to disappear. That's another World Wildlife Fund concoction. This one by 2 eco-activists who based their research on a Science Journal article that was about logging and burning in rainforests. It wasn't about global warming at all. Our oceans are getting too acidic for shellfish. And that was based on research, so-called, by a guy who poured hydrochloric acid into a fish tank. Half of Africa's agriculture will disappear by 2020 because of global warming. And that was from an article about grain crops in Morocco during drought years. Hurricanes will be stronger and more frequent. Bzzzt, wrong. A research actually said hurricane intensity and frequency are cyclical and have nothing to do with global warming or cooling. But this manipulation, fabrication, and fraud are being used to snooker and browbeat Congress, governors, and legislators into enacting expensive, regressive, intrusive, punitive laws and regulations that would affect and control not 1/6 of our economy, but 100% of our economy. Every aspect of our lives. They would send energy costs skyrocketing, destroy jobs, hammer poor families, and trample on our freedoms and civil rights. They are dictatorial eco-imperialism run amok. Don't get conned. Get informed. Get angry. Stand up. Speak out. Tell your legislators to cut off the taxpayer money train to these crude scientists and activist groups. Demand honest, transparent, accountable science. Protect your reliable, affordable energy, your freedom and living standards, because they are based on that affordable, reliable energy. Protect the blessings God gave us, the blessings our ancestors worked and fought and bled for, the blessings our children deserve to inherit. Thank you.
So Paul, tell me a little bit. I know you've written a book about the relationship between green policy and the developing world. Just give us a little bit of a sense of what that connection is.
The policy connection is simply too many environmental groups are taking a very narrow focus on environmental issues. To me, the environment has to include people, and for them, they want to focus on the natural world. So they are telling people in countries that don't have our living standards, don't have our job and our educational opportunities, our healthcare system, all the incredible benefits that modern technology, modern energy technologies have brought us. They are telling these people, we made mistakes, sure we did. We don't want you to make the same mistakes, therefore we don't really want you to develop. We don't want you to have the same technologies that we have used because they're bad for the environment. Mining, for example, takes things out of the ground, oil and gas, and even cutting down trees to build homes. They're saying you should continue living your traditional indigenous lifestyle. And I say, traditional indigenous means a lifestyle of poverty and ill health and premature death, because you're essentially what the Greens are telling them is we are denying you access to the technologies that we don't like.
You spoke about CFACT's position and the ways that they go into the developing world and help to foster this sort of assistance in developing countries. What I would like to know, in addition to that, is how you relate that to, for example, what's happening here. Is there an implication in terms of what's happening in the developing world to what's happening here?
The suggestion is that somehow magically we're going to be able to switch to wind and solar power. Together those two provide less than 2% of all the energy we use. And you cannot live on that kind of energy. You need affordable, reliable, abundant electricity and other forms of energy to have the kinds of things we have. And CFACT has the wisdom to understand this and to convey this to people. That's what we're all about, and why I'm so excited to be part of the CFACT.